Hello everybody and welcome to the European Masters Day number 4. My name is Hecarim and I am joined by Jamada. Welcome mate, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic. I am happy to be here, and Jake, no better person to be here with, man. I'm so bloody excited.
I'm super pumped. We've had an amazing run of it so far here at the European Masters as well.
Yeah.
The first 3 days, there were a fair few upsets, I think it's fair to say. Things did slow down towards the end of yesterday, but we have had just upset after upset. And I'm hoping this streak continues.
Yeah, I hope so too, right? You know, seeing the underdogs come in and actually perform well above expectations is always super fun. And I mean, I feel like when you get tournaments like EU Masters, right, you have all of these preconceived expectations of teams, and then when that starts to sort of fall apart, things get way more exciting, way more unpredictable as well.
We're looking back on yesterday's action, some of the bigger games. This one was quite a big one to note, the Big versus Kick matchup, because two teams with pretty high expectations. Yeah. And then we had a Go Rogue versus Misfits, and another just another blinder of a game, honestly. A Go Rogue handing Misfits, Misfits handing a Go Rogue their first loss.
Yeah, sort of. I don't know whether you'd call it a surprise. I love this shot here. Poor Hecarim, and then killing himself on the red buff. But yeah, I think a bit of a surprise to some perhaps. But you know, some of the Polish teams, I will wait until the second round robin to give my full sort of feelings on all of them. But I think something I don't necessarily have to wait to give my feelings on, G2 Arctic, man. It's been a really rough first round robin for them.
And it has not been a rough first round robin for SupUp. SupUp have really impressed us. You can see right now the standings on your screen, and here is the standings so far. So at the top of Group A is Big, a Go Rogue, Misfits, and SupUp all at the top of Group B, tied up nicely there. Then we have Group C, it's UCAM at the top of there, and then Carmine Corps at the top of Group D. I can get my words out eventually. Any kind of big upsets so far in the standings for you? Do you think this is kind of playing out how you expected it?
I think, you know, Anorthosis picking up a game is definitely the big one for me. I think G2 Arctic going 0-3, SupUp obviously as well in the same group, actually picking up wins in this pretty stacked group all in all as well. I think kind of across the board, there's at least one team that's kind of brought us a major surprise.
I think the Group DXL one is still stings, and we're actually looking at the schedule right now. This is today's action. We're starting off with BTXL versus Korean Real Betis, then Schalke versus Carmine Corp, UCAM versus Mounts, Matchco versus Illuminar, Makers versus Kick, and rounding the day out with a Anorthosis versus Big. Let's turn our attention a little bit towards this first game of the day, though. XL versus Korean Real Betis. XL, unfortunately for us NLC fans and all the UK fans as well, it's been a rough showing so far. 0-2. We expected them to do better. In my prediction, I honestly thought they were going to make it out of this group, whether it be first or second. Now they're kind of playing catch up, and if they lose here, the odds of them actually being able to make playoffs is out of their hands. It's really, really hard for them to make playoffs. Yeah,
I think realistically today is kind of their last chance to keep their hopes in their hands, right? If they lose today, making it to the knockout stage, it's not impossible, but it's so damn hard, right? You just, like you say, you have to rely on all the other results. And it's a shame because we did expect BTXL to be near the top of this group with Carmine Corp, but it's just not fallen that way. So for them, this is kind of last chance saloon in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and I think there's a fair amount of criticism we can put on some of the players. Well, I wouldn't say just individual players, but you know, Orome has had a pretty rough time of it topside. He has been 100% first-blooded in both the games they've played so far, and Deadly and Advienne have kind of fallen back into what we kind of quote as like old XL, where Deadly would just kind of AFK farm for like 300 CS and then try and take over the game because everything was just so far out of control. And this is not the team we have seen from them. So it's on them to bounce back here, though. We're taking on BTS, and we're into picks and bans. The Lucian and the Nidalee have been taken away. Nidalee, a pretty good target ban at Markoon.
Yeah, of course, Markoon domestically had quite a few strong Nidalee games. But I think for me, right, Jake, I've been saying it sort of before we went on there. Which version of the NLC representative are we going to see? We're seeing BTXL, the strong, decisive BTXL that we saw against teams like Fnatic Rising, or are we going to see, you know, BTXD, right? The team that's been here at EUM so far. So I really need to see them kind of, for me, I think you play towards Deadly and Advienne this time around. I think you've had 2 games where Orome and Hatrixx have kind of been left on a bit of an island to a sense, and they had Deadly farming up sort of AFK like you say, but they didn't really give him enough space to work with. And I think this time if BTXL can maybe sort of play from that, with that from the beginning, that they give themselves a much better shot.
All right, well, the bans are rattling out. The Seraphine and the Tristana by XL as their final 2 bans. Then we've had the Jinx taken away by Real Betis, and now looking for their final ban, going to be the Rail. This leaves things like the Hecarim, the Kai'Sa, lots of things open right now. Yeah,
I think, you know, the S-tier junglers, Orianna, the key things that sort of spiked to my mind, and BTXL, I think rightfully so, snapping up the Hecarim V1 here. And I think for Betis now, you know, one thing I definitely noticed with Betis is they don't really pick up Orianna too often, even when it's available. I think it's been around 2 months since Miniduke's actually picked up Orianna on stage. So I think this is kind of the time that we should see Betis maybe pick up, steal it away from this Hecarim. Otherwise, if we see BTXL snap that up as well, it can start to get very deadly. And there we go. We are finally going to see Miniduke get an Orianna stage game, and it's going to actually be paired up immediately with this Kai'Sa. So they're not going to lock in their jungler now. They know they're at no threat of actually losing it.
I actually really like that Kai'Sa pickup because already XL with the Hecarim, they're probably looking to put people who are going to jump forward, and the AD carry facilitates that. The best is going to be the Kai'Sa, but they're going to look for some long-range engage here. Going to pick up the Varus. Nice pick because it's quite flexible in its build path. You can go for that, the on-hit, the kind of attack speed Varus, or you can go for that lethality Varus. I know you have some dark tech as well, Jamada. Maybe we'll talk about, maybe we won't. But they are going to pick up the Tahm Kench as their final lock-in for the bot lane. So getting Deadly and Advienne a fairly safe bot lane here.
Yeah, fairly safe. It does strike me as a bit strange that we don't see the center paired up with the Tahm Kench, especially when Hecarim is also there on the table. But we'll have to see what the choices will sort of be towards the solo lanes and how they might look to facilitate the Hecarim as well. But for now, BTS, they're going to snap up the Udyr. I think it makes the most sense, obviously, as one of the S-tier junglers up and available. And now Betis kind of in a position where they probably look to ban out mid laners here. Perhaps something like the Victor, the Syndra maybe, if they're kind of scared of that matchup in particular. And over to BTXL as well. I mean, I think the most obvious thing is to try and remove away some more aggressive support options from whiteinn, stuff like the Rakan, which he's lent on a lot in recency.
Yeah, you got the things like the Alistair as well. There's a fair few kind of engaged bot laners that have been left open. With that rail ban, they don't have to worry about that. But there goes the Rakan, Jamada. He was talking about that. Kind of expected to see this one. Curious to see what the next ban will be for the side of BTS. Are they going to go for the likes of that Syndra? The Azir is open as well. We know Hatrixx plays that. There's actually a fair amount of mid laners open. So I think it's kind of trimming down what you really don't want to deal with if you're BTS and just give Miniduke as comfortable a matchup as possible. They're actually going to take away the Ahri, something we have seen a bit of a rise on towards the end of the regular splits for a lot of these regions. We've seen a lot of it in the NLC actually, so understandable ban there. I don't believe Hatrixx has actually played it though, so as far as I'm aware, not competitively.
Yeah, I don't think he pulled it out in the NLC at the very least. I think now BTXL, Alistar probably makes the most sense unless they want to remove away a hook champion. But okay, they're going to remove away their Nocturne, which to me, I'm not entirely sure what that's actually trying to signal. They're looking to pick up here for Orome, but I expect for BTS an engage support, right? Something to sort of either be the primary engage or help sort of allow set up for these shockwaves and some of the dive coming forward for the Udyr. But it's going to be the Barb, which I guess in that same sense can be that primary engage through the Tempered Fate, right? You've got that Tahm Kench and the Varus there who are very immobile targets, and it means Hatrixx also has to kind of be a little careful on what he picks up. A little bit more mobility to add to that, the Akali into the Orianna and also the Nocturne. So much dive threat coming out in this B4, B5 for BTXL. I really love to see that. And I think now Betis got to think a little carefully of what they're going to take into this Nocturne now.
I think if you're Miniduke, you're sweating a little bit. The assassins can jump on you or you're on an immobile mage, but as long as he's got flash, he should be all right. Remember, there were some changes to Akali. Has a lot less health starting at level 1, so and added a bunch of other changes. So it's a little bit weaker in the laning phase, but a lot more stronger AP scaling. And they're just going to pick themselves up the Sion for the top lane. I'm not particularly sure on how the Nocturne Sion lane actually goes.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend like I'm crazy versed on it either. I feel like Nocturne, though, should be able to secure priority like he can in a lot of top lane matchups. You should be able to spell shield things like the Decimating Smash, the Orome as well. They're relatively telegraphed abilities, so I think in that sense, Orome should be fine up in the top lane. And I mean, sort of across the board, I think BTXL have secured pretty fine lane matchups in my opinion. The Akali can't really get bullied out. Varus and Tahm Kench can definitely find some pressure. And I think for BTS, a lot of this, what they can play for, I think, is going to be this jungle matchup with Lebron. The Udyr can outpace the Hecarim in the early stages, but I'm kind of struggling to see where they should have guaranteed priority to try and help him out in that sense. So I think for BTS, it's all about LeBron and trying to ensure that he can sort of be this bridge for his late game hyper carries.
So it's going to be all about the jungle for BTS going into this game, making sure that this doesn't just get kind of lane kingdomed out and gets really rough as we are heading onto the Rift for our first game here of day number 4 at the European Masters. It's going to be XL on the blue side, BTS on that red side. This is the NLC taking on the Superliga from Spain. Real Betis are 1-1 right now in the standings, while XL, a team who, a few of us were talking before the European Masters started, and this team, this comp is put together to, at least make top 4, and realistically, anything less than that is a failure. And right now, I think it's fair to say they're failing. They're 0-2. Yeah. They need to start picking up the pace, and I think the key issue we've had with XL's performance so far is they've not looked so decisive in their plays. Domestically, they've been very on it with all of the plays they've gone for. Been very snappy, and everything's been kind of done instantly, and everyone's on the same page. But this time it's been Orome's got camped top lane, and then the rest of the team aren't entirely sure what to do with from there.
Yeah, and I think, in sort of contrast to the previous drafts that we've seen come out from BTXL, there's a lot more proactive tools kind of available to them via the lanes, just because they should have priority. And at least, the top lane, the bottom lane, the double ranged versus Varus Tahm Kench, it might potentially be an issue. Here we've got the average gold difference. Both of these teams have been struggling in the early game, and that's one thing to definitely note. And I think here, if we're talking about the side of BTXL, this will be their best chance to pick up a win, especially this is their final round 1 matchup. And I think it is kind of do or die. I think you go 0-3, it's kind of doomed. And I think for Betis, I want to see something kind of assertive. Once we hit this mid-game sort of point where they can start to play the game with the Orianna, with the Kai'Sa either diving forward or sort of diving back in retreat is the expectation because of so much dive coming out from BTXL here.
Well, as, the minions are starting to crash in, and we are seeing the junglers start up. They're starting on the opposite side of the map. Be interested to see whether or not LeBron recognizes that and maybe looks to try and split the map, or if he's going to head just up for a full clear. It looks like for the moment has done his grump, is onto the wolves, so LeBron's just going to full clear down upwards, while Markoon doing the exact same, but just downwards, so matching each other on that one for the moment.
Yeah, Markoon pathing towards his bottom lane. He's actually going to end up having both his side lanes with priority. It's not often that you see a Hecarim get double crab, especially into an Udyr, but this could be one of those games if he's so fortunate enough. He isn't going to have mid lane priority though, so Miniduke could potentially assist his jungler once those crabs do start spawning up. But for now, like you would kind of expect, the Udyr is slightly ahead of the Hecarim, but I think, sort of looking towards the next couple of minutes, dragon priority, things like that, I think if we start to see the dragon not be taken before level 6s come in, I think BTS do have a fairly good shot at trying to pick this early one up. But I think as soon as things like the perfect execution come up, the onslaught of shadows become available, it becomes a very difficult skirmish to actually take. LeBron, though, he's angling up this top lane gank potentially.
Would be a little harder as Orome is now level 3, so has the spell shield. So it's pretty hard to find that gank, and I think recognizing that, they're just going to head over. There is a ward now that spots LeBron out on this top side. Markoon was spotted out in his chicken camps by that ward that was placed down by his camp there, so there's a rough idea of where both of these junglers are. As the bot lane just going in for a light trade versus each other. Namex getting chunked out pretty heavily, and Markoon's going to escort the way forwards with his team.
Oh, they look for a dive. They are, I think.
Wonga Q's just going to shut this down, though, as they just charge straight back in onto the back line, using the exhaust onto Deadly for the moment as Namex is going low. That's first blood for Deadly.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to re-engage. I don't know whether they feel that spicy. Advienne's getting pretty low.
Is he dead? No, the minion blocked the Q.
Okay. Oh, Markoon's coming back around. He wants the wraparound.
Yeah, he's charging up, and whiteinn knows he's in trouble. Spot back, and he flashes away to safety. Markoon will secure the second kill for XL.
Yeah, honestly, great stuff from BTXL, and this is the kind of early game proactivity I wanted to see from XL in the first 2 games, and they're showing it here using the priority, the crashed wave of Deadly and Advienne. Markoon kind of sweeps in. Namex and whiteinn, between the Bard and Kai'Sa, there's not really too many defensive tools available yet. There's no Tempered Fate, there's no Killer Instinct. It's kind of an easy to execute dive, especially considering if Advienne needed to, he could have eaten anybody underneath that tower. Lebron, though, on the opposite side, did take the opportunity to sneak away the second spawn Gromp, so it's not all for free, but you definitely take 2 kills, and look at the CS difference already in the bottom lane because of that dive, and the Noon Quiver already picked up a Deadly.
Yeah, and there's a big wave that's building up. We'll head towards XL as well, so Deadly actually going to extend that gold lead and that CS lead once he gets back into the lane. And it's nice to see because, you know, not 4 minutes ago I said XL need to look more decisive like they did back at home. And that was definitely a more decisive and more proactive play from them. Orome now not got 100% first blood rate in his games, so I'm sure he's happy with that little stat for himself.
It's the small victories.
It's always those little ones, right?
Yeah.
But for the side of BTS, you know, in our pre kind of game conversations, one of the things that you did mention to me was you felt like their game versus Schalke was pretty saved by their draft. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the BTS draft. Do you think there's potential to save? What is this draft going to be like as we move later on into the game?
I feel the difference here between the BTXL composition and what Schalke are running into BTS is that there's a lot of overbearing dive. I feel like Markoon's going to go for this flip here.
He's not going to get there in time, though. Hasn't got R to get over the wall, but he's just looking to jump straight in.
Yeah, Hatrixx has level 6.
Takes the portal out, but Hatrixx is on the flank. Can't actually find the opportunity to slide forwards. And BTS get away with a free dragon.
Yeah, scot-free. Very scary stuff with Hatrixx having that perfect execution available to him, but they managed to sneak away with it. It's that Ocean Dragon, and with the Cloud spawning, it means we're going to get the Infernal or the Mountain Rift. But the difference I feel here between BTXL's composition and Schalke's composition when they were facing off against BTS was, quite simply, there wasn't really enough sort of hard go button that, you know, BTS couldn't defend against. Here, that's not really the case, right? Orome compresses our key from half a map away. You can't really stop a Hecarim, and, you know, there's not a whole bunch of hard TC to stop the Akali from doing her thing. And speaking of dive, Orome, I think he's going to get dived on here.
Puts the spell shield up, eats the Tiger Stances. They just hold all the CC. That is going to be one dead Nocturne as Orome flashes out and slowed down. Rubio finds the kill.
Yeah, kill credit going over to Rubio, but real nice from Lebron to actually walk up with the Bear Stance and then swap over to the Tiger to kind of just bait in the spell shield. Real nice use of the stances there. We get the replay of it. Not too much to talk about, really. Here you go. He's kind of just pump fakes it. And Orome spell shield's pretty much for nothing. And gets run down the lane. And, you know, Betis at least swinging back on that the double kill dive in the bottom lane. But, you know, I think Betis, as a team, they definitely are a little bit resilient. I don't think they'll just roll over if BTXL start to get a relatively overbearing lead. And even against Carmine Corp, they weren't... Ooh, hello.
Hatrixx looking to slide in, gets eaten up by the shockwave, has that perfect execution and just pings back to safety. Miniduke out of mana. Hatrixx pretty low on health as, look at this, Markoon's looking to come in bot lane. Isn't going to get hit by the Q this time, and Namex going to get jumped onto. That's the teleport being used. It looks like that's enough for XL just to run away from this. No 6 on Namex, so he can't jump forwards. Rubio's teleport was burnt for free there, effectively.
Yeah, pretty much. Just the presence of Markoon blows that one. And that's going to be a teleport advantage coming into the next Dragon 2 if BTXL want to contest that, which, given their champions, I imagine they will want to. Especially once Deadly also has the Chain of Corruption available. It's going to be a very scary skirmish for BTS to actually take, so I expect them to maybe try and play towards this Herald, and that lane swap is definitely going to be indicating that. See how BTXL actually decide to respond, whether they kind of just drop priority on the next Dragon to try and fight for this Herald, because they are stronger. Realistically at this point, not just because of the kills, but the champions themselves more capable of skirmishing. And it seems that will be the case. Both of these bottom lanes going to be rotating up to the top side.
Yeah, Orome actually didn't fully push the wave in, so it didn't crash into this tower. So Namex does at least collect in some of this farm. But he is down in CS right now, pretty heavily to Deadly, who's also got that kill and the assist. As if we could have a quick toggle of the gold and see just where they are between each other right now. It's a 1,000 gold lead to Deadly, so you're very right in the sense that they do have a lead here, and even though Lebron did help Rubio get that kill in the top lane, the top and jungle differences are very marginal right now.
Yeah, they are. But I will say Lebron has definitely... he's on pace for like perfect jungle CS at the moment. 82 CS in 9 minutes. But it is, you know, it's Hecarim versus Udyr. There has been a pretty lengthy debate recently, you know, the worth of these two champions in comp, right? How much impact the Hecarim can have in the later stages of the game against how much impact really, you know, a bear man can have running at you. But for now, Lebron can definitely find a lot of angles of attack if Markoon isn't around, and definitely be a little scarier with this level lead at the moment.
It looks like LeBron's a little bit too slow to the punch to deal with the XL Rift Herald, so should be a bit of a freebie for them as Advienne is going to be spotted out trying to clear out this ward, and he's going to get a lot of CC. Everybody's jumping in onto him, so he pops the grey health. Markoon's secured the Herald already, and Namex could get jumped onto as Markoon does have that ulti, and Namex just takes a big chunk of his health bar. But thanks to the portal by whiteinn, Namex will be able to get away to safety. A little bit of poke might come in from Deadly.
Yeah, that's just the power of Varus in general. So just irritating to lane against in these first stages of the game. There's not really much recourse, especially as a Kai'Sa, against the range in particular. And with that Tahm Kench, it just makes him all the more annoying to actually get jumped on. Now, Tempered Fate is available for whiteinn, and these guys have been posturing for a while. Oh, Chain of Corruption goes wide.
Yeah, they've used that chain. It didn't quite hit. Markoon's also in the area. It looks like XL forsaking the dragon here as Advienne actually walks up. He's taking tower shots, by the way, so he's going to have to just try and get out in safety. Able to do so, but the charge is going to get used, and they're going to pick up a couple of plates here in this bot lane, in this top side, but not going to actually find the tower quite yet.
I'm not sure if whiteinn just didn't have enough mana to cast Tempered Fate or forgot about it. Oh.
Deadly's taking a lot of damage as Markoon's looking to come in. They've got the paranoia, the fears onto 2. Here comes everyone from XL sliding in onto the back. Namex flashes and he goes down. It's 2 kills for XL already. And Orome will be able to get out from this one. Lebron just trying to zone him away. Hatrixx now coming in looking for Miniduke here. Might find him with a shuriken flip. It's just going to perfect execution, sliding in and out. This is beautiful by Hatrixx, dodging the ult, but no! Miniduke gets the outplay, and the charge is coming in on the top lane. Orome secures the tower, but he will lose his life. Uses the spell shield to block out on the knock-up, and Advienne's not even going to cancel his recall. Bye-bye, Orome.
Bye-bye, Orome. So much stuff going on right there. I really feel Betis, you probably just yield that tower. Very surprising not to see whiteinn actually cast the Tempered Fate to stop the Herald charge as well. And then in the mid lane, Hatrixx have been posturing towards actually fogging into the top side, trying to pressure the Betis bottom lane to sort of back away from that tower. He returns to the lane. He says, I think I've got the lethal damage to take down Miniduke. But Miniduke just kind of survives. The damage isn't quite there, but we get the replay of the dive. The paranoia and the TP comes down. There's just not a lot of vision really for Betis to properly respond to this, or the health bars for that matter. And I mean, you can flash all you like, you're not getting away from that paranoia. Now, how hard you try. And in the mid lane, quite simply, Miniduke just has enough HP. I don't think there's much else to say. It wasn't really poorly executed by Hatrixx mechanically, and the Orome simply run down.
Yeah, there's no counterplay to that. You've got no spell shield. You've got a Sion and an Udyr on you. You're not getting away. It's interesting to see that Hatrixx has gone for the flash and the teleport. We did see quite a lot of ignite teleport Akali come out. And, you know, with that ignite, shoulda, coulda, wouldas could have come in, and Hatrixx would have got that kill onto Miniduke. Yeah. Not sure if he would have got away either way, but at least he would have traded equal. But at least having that flash does give some element of safety. You know, if the Sion or the Udyr do come out at you and you've already used your shuriken flip. There's a cheeky blue buff handoff is going over, just to give Hatrixx a bit more energy regen.
Yeah. Topside BTXL using that teleport advantage as well, that we spoke about earlier. And with that, they are going to be at a disadvantage for this dragon, especially as Orome walks towards the top side, and Rubio actually making his way down to the bottom side. However, it seems more like a
doesn't have flash, and Hatrixx is going to jump in. They both get eaten by the shockwave, but they have that perfect execution underneath the tower. He goes. Hatrixx flashes out to safety. Can just pit back under the tower. No, he can't. It's timed out, and Lebron is going to run Hatrixx down. He has nowhere to go as the hammer will slam down. Hatrixx flips over the wall, and he's sniped by Namex.
Yeah, almost everybody getting in on the action for that kill, when you think about it. But yeah, Hatrixx just a little bit overzealous. Didn't hit the tab key. Didn't recognize Miniduke had that stopwatch, and that should just be the second dragon of the game going over to Betis. So let's see what the soul spawn up will be. But I mean, Markoon's right here, and he does have vision.
He has ulti as well.
And he has ulti.
I don't think he's feeling it. He's not feeling it. That's the second dragon to BTS now.
Yeah. And Infernal Soul.
And XL kind of had a half-hearted attempt in the first dragon, but this dragon just completely gave it up. And you know, we've been singing praises about, you know, Deadly and kind of maybe okay. Hatrixx is just, that's a lot of damage as Rubio dodges out on the Chains of Corruption. XL are just not giving room to breathe right now. They're constantly fighting, and Rubio is going to get locked down here. That Tongue Lash will be enough, and Deadly secures himself his second kill of the game as Rubio slowed by the Hail of Arrows as well, and the Tongue Lash.
Yeah, but this is what we need to see from BTXL. We need to see this more revitalized, more aggressive side of them. The draft definitely says that, and right now they're playing like it too. But I think on the side of Betis, they've been in this position a few times, even when they were, you know, even in the game that they picked up. They were, versus Schalke, they were on the back foot for a majority of it. And, you know, up until that Baron start and eventual takedown from Schalke, where they then Lebron. And there's more members coming too, Tempered Fate and the teleport available.
Yeah, Deadly is just going to receive so much love as Advienne just going to leave his AD carry to die. The shutdown is picked up by Lebron, and a beautiful ulti is going to lock him down. This is going to be the end of Advienne. BTS just sliding in and securing themselves 2 kills as Namex cashes in on the Catfish.
Yeah, and XL aren't really getting much for this. They're just kind of losing their bottom lane here for free. I suppose Orome is taking some of the jungle camps in the top side, but it's not the greatest response in the world, but at least it's a response. But Betis capitalizing well, and this is the kind of thing that they can do, especially when the map's wide open.
This is a very optimistic play by XL. Orome is not going to get caught out by the shockwave. It's Hatrixx who has to throw it down the shroud, and he is caught out by Miniduke. Orome now running to the wind. Has got Markoon with him, so they can clear through this wave. But that was a really, really questionable play by BTXL.
Yeah. I think Hatrixx the victim of Orome's aggression more than anything else. Pays for his top laner sins there with the ultimate, but again, Betis, they pick up another free kill. Just more gold going into the pocket. The scaling of Miniduke. Namex, despite the very tough early game, he's only really down like that half item at the moment. Has the Kraken Slayer compared to Deadly's Kraken Slayer and components. As the replay of this ultimate finishes off the chicken camp, and I guess they just feel like they can potentially burst Miniduke down because he steps a little bit too far forward to clear the wave, but they should kind of just know the numbers. Betis just made a play on the bottom side. They're likely to be in the area to be able to respond to this play, but they go for it anyway, they get punished.
Kind of channeling their BTXD there.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
As it's not been a good lane for Hatrixx. 0-3
Yeah.
on the Akali. He has had a very, very rough game. Luckily for him, Markoon 2-0-2. Worth a shutdown, got his chem tank finished up. Orome with a stride breaker. While 1 and 2, it's been a much better performance from Orome than the previous 2 games for XL. So they have got their little windows, they have got their opportunities, but Miniduke is going to be a real problem on this Orianna. Got the stopwatch, well, the Zhonya's Hourglass fully finished up and putting towards that first Mythic. Miniduke has kind of been fed for free, as XL have kind of just funneled gold into him by constantly trying to find these outplays.
Yeah, and I love the itemization too of that Zhonya's, right? You've got so much dive coming at you from the Nocturne, from the Hecarim, the Akali. Pick up that the stopwatch into the Zhonya's rush. It just means you're all the more safe, right? You can always just Zhonya's as soon as you feel like you're at threat. Someone who doesn't have a Zhonya's though, Namex.
Yeah. Stride breaker's on. That is going to be the end of Namex. He actually slides out, flashes away, and that's going to force the ulti out from Markoon. So that's a tool down, but they do at least kill him. Lebron's not going to be able to get in range, and they've still got this Rift Herald in their pocket. It's very hard, though, with whiteinn having the Tempered Fate.
No, he didn't cast it the last time. The Herald was dropped in front of him, so maybe BTXL forget about it for now. But I think the name of the game, looking towards this next dragon, right? BTS, they scored the first 2. Right now, it's BTXL with all of the agency, the vision in this river. They want to keep control in this area so that BTS they have to check in, and it gives XL more options, more angles to actually attack them from.
Resets are coming in right now for side of BTS, which is a bit questionable when you've got 27 seconds until the dragon spawns up. So ultimately, looks like they may just have to give this one up. But the Rift Herald that's could get summoned by Markoon in the mid lane to secure them the priority in the mid lane. Looks like they're not actually going to go for that though, and whiteinn will be back on the map in time. But the problem is XL have used this opportunity to get the vision control. You can see the warding that's gone down, and now they're using the Scryers just to try and find where XL are. You can see the toggle. It's BTS, only a few wards, and It's a slow but steady push forward for them as they're trying to find some kind of an opportunity to get into the lane. They do shove out the mid side, and that is actually going to force XL away for now.
Look at Hatrixx.
The BTS do get the opportunity to come in, but Hatrixx is on the flank, and Orome got that paranoid just about to come off cooldown, and Hatrixx gets caught out by the Tempered Fate, and that is going to be one dead Akali. He flashes out to safety, uses the Shroud, trying to buy some time for his team as he is looking to get out of this one, but multiple members coming in as Hatrixx actually Shuriken flips out, perfect executions back into Namex's face. He finds the kill, 1 versus 5, and secures XL the Dragon, but now Miniduke coming in with his ultimate available to him. The Rift Herald was summoned in the mid lane, and it did get the charge off as the Paranoia is going to get thrown down. That's the stopwatch being used. Deadly's not in the fight though, as they're going to get the fear off before they can get through the portal. Orome dodges out on the Q. The second charge comes in from the Rift Herald. Orome gobbled up by Advienne and spat back out as the shockwave lands onto 2, as here comes Deadly, gets himself a kill onto Miniduke, and Lebron is in the middle of all of XL, while Orome is in the middle of multiple members of BTS as whiteinn is going so low. Rubio finds the kill, Deadly flashes forward and gets himself another one. This is all XL. This is all Deadly. It's a triple kill for him.
Yeah, really nice fight. And I mean, honestly, Hatrixx just plays Mario. He says, I'm 0-3. I don't care if I die 1v5. If I take out one member with me, I'm happy with that. Gets caught in the Tempered Fate, flashes away from all of the initial skill shots for an item. The Shroud buys so much time. And even with the super, it doesn't matter. You can only really chuck AoE abilities at him. He uses the perfect execution out, the Shuriken flip out. And even though he gets CC'd, he's still able to cast the ultimate before he dies. Picks up the ADC of Betis, and then BTXL, they're kind of just rotating over to the mid lane, and they see, hey, this is kind of an illegal rotation. We punish these, and they move in. It's a nice portal out, but look at Deadly's approach. He's kind of free to hit whoever he wants. He throws out the Chain of Corruption onto Miniduke, and he just bursts him down, nothing he can do. And even though Lebron comes in on the flank, he's got enough members Deadly on top of him to protect him from it. Takes down the Udyr, and, you know, Orome, a little bit of charity work, but he does enough work with Deadly to come in and pick up that 3rd kill for the triple.
First Dragon for XL. First team fight win as well. 5, 1, and 3 right now for Deadly. Very close to his 3rd item. Almost got the Lord Doms.
Yeah, he's on the
While we look over on Namex, and Namex is a Kraken Slayer double longsword right now. So significantly behind his counterpart.
He's going for that Lord Dom second as well. So, as you say, very far behind his counterpart. But let's talk about Betis for a second, how they can actually try and take a foot back into this game. Because, you know, over the course of their group stage, they've not really been that far ahead very frequently. They've been in this position already twice. One of the games they won, one, of course, Karmine Corp, very clinical with finishing out their games. I think if they can just try and funnel a little more gold onto Namex so he hits that 2 iron mark, they can just try and slow down the pace of the game. They can let some of these dragons go, right? The next 2, realistically, as long as they don't give over a Baron. Oh, okay. They can look for this
Deadly.
play.
Advienne's gonna have to be on it with the gobble, but he's instantly CC'd. They do get it off as he dodges out the shockwave. Deadly's alive, throws out the chains. Deadly's still going. The charge comes in from Markoon. The health bars are so low, and Namex is getting run down by Markoon, trying to find a little bit additional damage.
Hatrixx
But here comes Hatrixx. Can't get quite close enough, and BTS punished with a kill onto Advienne. But XL somehow keep Deadly alive.
Somehow keep Deadly alive. The important thing is they keep him alive because he has that shutdown. If he dies, that's 900 gold, or 700 gold rather, in the back pocket of whoever picks up that kill credit. So real nice from Advienne to be able to snap him up, especially ate up the shockwave, the decimating smash from Rubio. A real nice attempted play from Betis. They still come out ahead. Very fortunate not to lose more members, I think, because of how far forward they dive in an attempt to take Deadly down. You see the shockwave dodged away because of the E. The dive comes forward from Orome, from Markoon, dashed away from with the Killer Instinct by Namex, but is almost run down by the big pony. Hatrixx isn't able to get in range, and Orome is able to disengage on the bottom side. Nice proactivity from Betis, because honestly, in the games, in the mid games where they were behind, they kind of soft rolled over. They didn't really look for plays like that, so not willing to just kind of give BTXL the game because they're ahead right now, because they've got so much overbearing dive. They are happy to make picks when they see them available.
It's kind of what XL did versus Schalke as well. They kind of just rolled over. It's kind of our main criticism was they both weren't doing much when they were behind, and just, you know, not trading anything, rather just losing things like objectives or kills after kills. But XL definitely bouncing back. Even in their Karmine Corp game, they looked a lot better. It looks like this is finally a bit of a resurgence for this team, as Rubio's going to get feared and boxed back into the members. Deadly just free firing into him, and They do use a Tempered Fate that locks down a couple of members of XL. So Rubio going to try and get onto Deadly, but not actually going to get close enough. The Shockwave does connect onto 2, but it's actually gobbled up by Advienne as they use the Paranoia. Hatrixx looking for the assassination onto that backline as he slides forwards into the Bard. whiteinn just about gets out on that one. And XL find 2 kills, losing nobody.
Yeah, and pings onto Baron. The jungler's dead. Rubio's gone. Miniduke doesn't have Shockwave. There's no real threat that they will lose this Baron to any ability. So this should be a pretty free pickup. And I mean, Deadly is already shredding the thing before Markoon shows up. So let's see what they can get done with this Baron buff. The dragon is spawning in a couple of seconds. They could just easily rotate back over to that before resetting if they so wish. Let's see what the option is going to be. Seems reset for some. Orome is still in the mid lane as well. BTS get punished in their blue side jungle. Rubio kind of just caught sleeping, and it seems like Betis, they're going to start this one up. There's no real numbers here for XL to try and steal this on the way, so it will bring Betis, if anything, 1 dragon away from Soul as it cheekily resets. Even Dragon seems to apparently be on XL's side today.
But ultimately, that is 1 off Soul for BTS, and I don't think there's a single team in the game that will sneer at having a Infernal Soul. The extra damage is lovely. And when you've got the likes of an Orianna and a Kai'Sa, 2 champions that do scale very well into the later stages of this game, having that a little bit additional damage and more AoE to work with, never going to be a problem. But for now, that's not going to be an option for another 4 or 5 minutes, and XL have got Baron, so they're going to use this opportunity to step forward and try and take some towers.
Yeah, the inner tower is the most important thing, right? It's just standing gold as the mid tier 2 is taken by Orome and co. And nice 1-4 here. They don't really want to spread out into all 3 lanes, even though they do have the global potential to do so. Just increases the chances that Betis can find a pretty free pick. You know, if they can sort of group around Deadly, he is so strong, 3.5 items to Namex is 1.5. They will most likely win out. They are looking for Orome here.
Yeah, they are. He does use that Stride Breaker and the Spell Shield to keep himself alive, though, and his cannon is just going to whap away at this tower as Markoon's going to be able to pick it up.
Yeah, and with these towers going down, it just means quite simply BTXL, they're going to be able to press even higher up the map, especially on this side where this is the side where Betis they have to approach Dragon from. They can just kind of choke Betis out of all of the vision that they could lay down. All of this vision that you can see right now, the very shallow line that Betis do have, BTXL can start to slowly strip it away as they're going to rotate out to the top side now, sort of surgically removing all of these inner towers. Baron has, I'd imagine, around another sort of 40 seconds or a minute or so left, so they should be able to take this one down unless Betis really try hard to defend.
They do have that Tempered Fate now, and if they group up, it could be Tempered Fate into Shockwave combo that could honestly undo this. They'll have to be careful as the Chains of Corruption are come out from Deadly. Rubio's just taking a lot of damage. That's going to be the Tempered Fate. Only hits a couple of minions as Markoon's able to charge away to safety. The Shockwave does land onto Orome and Advienne. But nobody goes down for XL, and this tower's still very, very low.
Yeah, and with the mana pool of Miniduke, the fact that the Shockwave is no longer available, free right now for BTXL to pick up that final tower. And you can call that a relatively successful Baron. If you're BTXL, you take down one of those towers, it means you now have sort of a lot more free access to just start setting up camp in either side of the jungle as you please. Betis going to be kind of strangled out of vision over the next few minutes, and it just means BTXL the more likely of the 2 teams here to pick up that dragon once it spawns in 2 minutes.
Yeah, and XL do have a 6,000 gold lead as well. Deadly just finished his Infinity Edge off just a BF sword after the back of that base. I'd actually like to have a quick look at the gold once again, just between all of the individual members and see where we're at, because Deadly's got to have a lot of this gold. Yeah, he has a 5,000 gold lead over Namex. Mid lane, it's only 900, sorry, if it separates both of these mid laners. So even though Hatrixx had a rough start to this game, he's done pretty good to keep himself relevant here.
Yeah, I definitely say he has, and Akali is one of those champions where she doesn't really need a crazy amount of items to blow up Squishy, so still relatively happy with where he's at. He has the Zhonya's, and that's the important thing, it's that time buying item. No pun intended, I suppose, with the Zhonya's being the item it is, but just the fact that, you know, Shroud into Zhonya's, into Perfect Execution, out afterwards, just means that Betis have to focus on him for just that little more, that little extra 2 seconds. Can be all the difference. And Deadly is 5,000 gold of this 8k gold deficit, give or take that Betis stare down.
But that is a problem in its own way. Like, it's great having him having this much of a lead, but if he's got 5,000 of your 8,000 gold lead, if he dies, suddenly that gold lead's actually only 3,000.
Yeah.
And you lose your consistent damage. You lose that gold lead. So, and it's not like BTS really don't have the tools to deal with that. They have, you know, the Killer Instinct to kind of follow up from the Shockwave. You've got the Tempered Fate to start a pick onto him from long range. You've got the Sion, the Udyr, who can all find their opportunities to jump onto him. So if Deadly's not peeled for by Advienne effectively, like he has been, to be fair, you can lose a lot of that gold lead nice and early. And both these teams are posturing around this dragon area, looking to contest for this as the chains connect from Deadly, but he's going to eat a shockwave as he actually flashes away. The knockoff's going to land. He gets gobbled up as the Temper Fate comes in as Markoon slides onto the backline. That's the charge over the wall. Deadly free firing, but he's finally going to go down. No, he's not. He's stopwatch. He's still in the fight. Deadly is not dying. He just refuses to go down. Finally falling, but it costs 3 members of BTS. And Rubio, you're a tanky Sion, but there's only so far you can tank as Orome will run him down, and Markoon will slowly but surely chip the tank out of the game. One more tongue lash from Advienne, and Orome finds the kill. It's a 4-for-1 in favor of XL, as whiteinn might be going to make this a 5-for-1. Can get the slow off, can get the stuns off, but there's only so far he can run away from the pony. whiteinn will go down, and it looks like they may just give the kill to Hatrixx. Nope. Don't worry, Markoon wants it.
Markoon being the solo queue jungler. Doesn't want to give his... I mean, to be fair, Hatrixx is 1-4, so I don't blame him if you're Markoon. But the end result of that fight is a clean ace. Is that dragon to just make sure BTS aren't picking up the soul. It starts with the Chain of Corruption, real nice from Deadly, and then he flashes forward aggressively over the Shockwave. And at that moment, I'm like, wow, he's insane to even think about doing that. All of the dive from BTXL comes forward, just decimates the best. There's not really much they can do. And all the while, Deadly just buying so much time between the stopwatch, the devour from the Tahm Kench. Lebron, Rubio, they're not really able to burst him down quick enough to be able to try and salvage the dumpster fire that is their backline. They lose the fight, they lose the dragon. Baron is back up on the map. XL are likely going to be eyeing that one up.
It's one of those things as well, when you see those stopwatches get picked up, you kind of know it's fight time. Namex does have his stopwatch now. And Zhonya's Hourglass is about to be up for Miniduke. So if a play like that happens again, Deadly flashless, healless, and stopwatchless, be a very different landscape if a similar scenario does happen. Deadly does have to be a little bit more careful on that one. Orome has himself a Guardian Angel finished up, so he's able to jump in onto that backline and deal with that. But the paranoia's been popped in. XL are just looking to go. This is the go time. Orome, remember, still has that Guardian Angel, so it's the res going to get popped as Deadly dodges out on the Tempered Fate, and Rubio loses his life. The resurrection's coming in for Orome. Only one hit out by the Shockwave as Hatrixx gets himself a kill onto Miniduke. They kill the zombie Sion. Namex sniped one more time here by Deadly, and it's a 3-for-none in favor of XL. And Lebron feared and running down as XL will find a triple kill for their AD carry. And whiteinn now trying to buy some space as Advienne slowing it down. Looks like they're going all the way for the quadra kill. Deadly gets a beautiful quadra kill. And XL looking to cash in on their first win here at the European Masters. It was a rough start to the tournament, but they came out on fire today.
Yes, they did. It was a very disappointing first 2 games for BTXL, and we started off the day by saying, are they finally going to play around Deadly? Are they actually going to give him resources? He was one of the few members, him and Advienne, that didn't really fall to the wayside in their previous 2 losses. And today they did that. They dived the bottom lane early with all of that lane pressure, the stacked wave, and it just kind of snowballed from there. There were signs of life throughout the game that they could potentially come back, but I just feel the dive threat was just too overbearing. And I kind of personally have to ask questions of the Bard in the place it was picked, right? You saw what you were likely going to be laning into. I just feel like you want to pick something a little more defensive, something to facilitate the Kai'Sa in particular. The Bard just can't stop things like a Hecarim all that consistently. So, you know, I think for Betis to the drawing board for the next draft, but happy for BTXL to finally pick up that first win.
It felt to me a little bit more like XL finally had turned on that decisiveness what we'd seen from them in the NLC, and that was a much needed win, because if they had lost this, odds of them making playoffs or any kind of, you know, any further into the tournament gets very slim and out of their hands. But a much needed win for XL, as we're going to talk a little bit more about that after this break, so we'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Nothing comes easy. I've learned that the hard way. I've had those bad days. Yeah, I've had those bad days. And they say, never gonna make it that far. You don't even know who you are. You'll never go all the way. Who do you think that you are? But I know, I know, I know. I'ma be that one in a million. I'll be that one in a million. Ain't gotta start till I'm at the top. I'll be that one in a million. I'ma be that one. I'ma be that one in a million. I'll be that one. I'll be that one in a million. Got so much to learn. Yeah, I know it's a long road, but I got nowhere else to go. I got nowhere else to go. And they say, never gonna make it that far. You don't even know who you are. You'll never go all the way. Who do you think that you are? But I know, I know, I know. I'ma be that one in a million. I'll be that one in a million. Ain't gotta start till I'm at the top. I'll be that one in a million. I'ma be that one. I'ma be that one in a million. I'll be that one. I'll be that one in a million. I'ma be that one. I'ma be that one in a million. I'll be that one. I'll be that one in a million. I'ma be that one in a million. I'll be that one.
All or nothing.
Oi, oi, we only gone and done it. We got ourselves our first win of the European Masters. We'll put the bias stuff aside for the moment, but that was a fantastic win for XL and a much, much needed one as well.
Yeah, very much so needed. They lose today. I really feel like they're just kind of done for the groups. I don't think they would have made it into the knockouts. At least this win here gives them that opportunity to keep their fate in their hands. Hatrixx here, you know, he had a bit of a game. But the rest of BTXL, they were really firing on all cylinders. It was very, very difficult, I feel, for Betis to come back into this one. Especially once, you know, we had the end of that lane swap where Deadly was just so far ahead. You know, we saw this pick here in the bottom lane, and this is where I kind of thought, okay, maybe BTXL, they get thrown off Cure, they get thrown off balance, and maybe there's a little bit of chaos that Betis can capitalize on. But the issue with that, I feel, is BTXL's composition kind of thrives a little more on chaos in this kind of scenario anyway. So I feel like with the gold lead that was already there, Betis probably would have fallen to the wayside at that point anyway.
Yeah, I think there's still some questions. XL definitely got good team fighting later on in the game, but there was, you know, Hatrixx had a pretty shoddy lane. I think that's unfair to say. Sure, he bounced back, but I think there's still some issues. You know, if you go up versus Carmine Corpse and Hatrixx goes 0-3 in mid lane versus Saken, that could be a very, very different setting. So I think it's one of those things that they do need to be a little bit careful of. And, you know, while it was a much better game, it wasn't an infallible game by XL. And
No.
they're in a very hard group, so good start, but it's a matter of improving from where they're at right now. As see the end of game stats, 33.7 thousand damage from Deadly. That's that 5,000 gold lead he had.
Yes. I wonder who was the carry this game. It was Deadly, but that was what we wanted to see. That's what we sort of highlighted at the start of the day. I want to see Deadly played through. And today he was, and today BTXL won. And happy to finally see it. I think for Betis, they came out, I think it's kind of the same sort of drafting style that we've seen from them over the past couple days. And, you know, this time they were handily punished for it. It wasn't just kind of a slow burner for 20 minutes and then, you know, eventually, or even 30 minutes really, and then eventually they kind of started to roll over. This time it was all gas, no brakes from XL.
Yeah, it really was. I think, you know, now we got to look at how XL match up versus Schalke once again, and Korean Real. Well, they do have to play Korean Real once more. So that was the first of 2 games. It is a double round robin, but you know, it's Carmine Corps and Schalke are the ones that I worry about for XL now, because a much better game, and they did look pretty good versus Carmine Corps, but they still just, that game snowballed out of control away from them, and that's my real worries. Our next game actually is going to be Schalke versus Carmine Corps, which is a really nice one actually, because we're kind of rounding out Group D right here at the end of the start of the day and at the end of the week. So putting Group D's first round robin to bed here. I'm really interested by this game because Schalke kind of caught me off guard in that XL game.
Yeah.
They did obviously drop a game to Korean Real, so towards the bottom of the table, things in Group D are starting to get a little bit worried. And if Carmine get a win here, then we have 3 teams tied all below them at that point.
Yeah, they would all be 1-2. So that would make things pretty spicy for the group. I think Schalke potentially underestimated, maybe coming into it, maybe by us as a team, but honestly, I think they have what it takes to take down Carmine. I don't think Carmine are necessarily, you know, an invincible team. I think they can definitely have their weaknesses, and especially like a team, Schalke, they have very strong solo laners, just like Carmine Corp do. I think they can go toe to toe with them. So once we get that matchup going, that's it.
That's our next matchup, though. It is going to be Schalke versus Carmine. So you got 3 minutes. Grab a cocoa, grab a blankie. We'll see you in a minute.